Good morning, motorcycle people. There she is, the mighty SG, ready for road trip duty. It is a humid June day as we get ready to roll. And you know your old buddy Tony is always trying to help you learn from my mistakes. Well, here's one of my mistakes. I should have gotten the luggage rack from CSC. Having two strap bags to my seat works, but it leaves a wee little place for my not so wee backside. So we'll see how that works out as we get on the road, but excited to go. The first hour and a half aren't much to look at, and so I'm going to get on the road and I'll talk to you guys later. After an hour or so of start-stop traffic, I finally slipped the bonds of suburbia and found myself on some beautiful Pennsylvania back roads. Riding the SG250 on roads like these is such an enjoyable experience. Among the farms and wildflowers, the bike happily hums along 45 to 50 mile per hour roads without a care in the world. Unstressed bike? Unstressed rider. I settled into my ride, got close to some of the local farm residents, and rolled on through the first half of my day. So I'm taking a little rest here in the shade and shelter of an overpass. It ain't glamorous, but such is the life on the road. So far, so good. I mean, I'm not quite halfway through my first day of riding, and yeah, doing really well so far. The bike is handling great, hasn't missed a beat. It is hot as balls out here. It's in the 90s right now. It's humid. That is my only real issue at the moment. I was able to get some miles in and take a little rest at lunchtime. Like I said, the bike's been doing great. The only aches and pains I have are from my own age-related and use-related injuries. So yeah, so far I'm having a great time. I just wish it was 10 degrees cooler. Leaving my underpass oasis, I headed back into the heat and sadly back into civilization, riding through industrial areas and built-up towns on the last Pennsylvania leg of my journey. Of course, the SG250 is great in urban environments as well, but I did miss the nice scenery. My patience was soon rewarded, though, when I passed into Maryland. A forested state park with blissfully shaded, curvy roads greeted the SG and me and provided some relief from the heat. I'd have happily ridden many more miles there, but after 30 minutes or so, I broke out of the forest, and the foothills of West Virginia came into sight. My camera work suffered a bit here, but you can see the West Virginia mountains beckoning on the horizon. The bike and I pushed on, up and down the hills through rolling farmland. And as we got closer to the mountains, my excitement grew at the promise of isolated, twisty roads. But that would have to wait until tomorrow. Around this time, a phrase formed in my mind that I'd use to describe the rest of my trip: slow touring. Riding long distances, but unhurried and on slower roads. I know many before me have sung its praises, but I had never experienced it until this day. And it was fantastic. One of the most relaxing states I have found. A chance to really feel the journey, immersed in your surroundings and able to stop whenever and wherever the mood strikes. It was so much more enjoyable than the long-haul interstate riding I did a couple years earlier. After a long day's ride, I finally rolled into my day one destination, the Firefly Inn in the small town of Wardensville, West Virginia. If you ever pass through here, the Firefly is a clean, comfortable place to bed down for the night. And after nearly 250 miles in the saddle, I unloaded my gear, unhooked my Kriega, and headed in for some rest. The next morning started with a little surprise roadside repair to tighten my handlebar clamps. But I'm soon back on the road with a very special stop coming up on my day 2 ride. Unfortunately, to get there, I had to face some miles on 65-mile-per-hour highways, and to be honest, it wasn't much fun. With the Motocult Stage 4 kit installed, the bike can cruise along at 55 or 60 all day, but pushing it to 65 for long periods is just uncomfortable. So, I didn't. Even on the highway, slow touring was the mode of this trip. Happily, the highway soon gave way to the kind of roads we motorcyclists dream of. Twisty mountain roads with hills on either side, sometimes a meandering river, miles of relaxing, unhurried riding, despite the sped-up video. This is what I came for, but as midday approached, I couldn't help but get excited for my very special destination. And here it is, the Green Bank Science Center, the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, home to the Green Bank Telescope, a 100-meter radio telescope that we will get something of a view of here in a second. But also on the grounds, they have a few other decommissioned or even still active radio telescopes. This is one that is no longer in use. But we'll go inside and take a look. The issue with Green Bank is it is a radio telescope, and so it needs zero interference from electronics. So there is a very strict perimeter around it, and basically if you get any closer than the visitor center, all electronics have to be shut off. So I walked a trail just a minute ago that took me past the tree line and got me really close to it, and it's cool. It's really cool. It's a radio telescope, so it doesn't observe visible light. It only detects radio waves. But I'm a little bit of an astronomy geek. Radio waves can tell you a ton about the universe, especially the early universe, because frequently the light from the early universe has gotten stretched out over time, and so that it now shows up as radio waves. So we'll go in, I'll give you the best peek I can at the telescope, which is not going to be great, but trust me when I tell you, it is a sight to see up close. Well, I'm happy to say I was wrong. I was just getting ready to leave when I realized that there was another observation area that actually had a clear view of the telescope. Now I'm zoomed in as far as the GoPro will zoom, and that very big telescope still looks kind of small in the picture, but you can at least get a sense for it. 100 meters, 328 feet wide, listening to the whispers of the universe. Pretty cool. All right, now back on the bike. Let's get on the road. After leaving my nerd paradise, I was back out on the road, enjoying more of those twisty mountain roads. Trees on either side, hills in the distance. Just some of the best riding you can imagine. There was, however, one little problem. I didn't know where the hell I was going at this point. At Green Bank, I lost my GPS signal and lost my cell phone signal, and in the process lost my Google map. And so taking off from there, I was trying my best to remember which direction to go when I reached an intersection. I had a 50-50 shot. Want to guess how that turned out? So a few miles in, I realized I was going to need help. But fortunately, I found that sooner rather than later. So I had myself a little pickle here. Visiting the Green Bank telescope has one major setback, and that is that it is in a cell phone dead zone because it doesn't interfere with the radio signals. So I went 5 miles the wrong direction on some beautiful roads. And so until the nice folks at the Cass Trading Company here behind me let me use their Wi-Fi, now I know where I'm going. I'm going to get back on the road. And it doesn't make me sad that I get to do this 5 miles of twisty road again. So check this out. I was looking for a place to stop for a break, and I saw this picnic area in Monongahela National Forest. And I get here water from the parking lot. How pretty is this? Not a bad place to rest my weary bones for a few minutes. So I'm about an hour and 15 minutes or so away from my destination for the day and for the next couple of days. And I've had such a great ride to get to this point and to get to my destination, but I'm also looking forward to being off the bike for a little bit. 2 consecutive 200 plus mile days is a lot on an SG250. On any bike it's a lot, but especially on a small bike. It's handled it amazingly. I've been in the mountains a lot today and most of the day, and twisty roads, lots of switchbacks, and followed by a climb, and then it's just handled everything like a champ. And so I'm super pleased with the bike. I'm super pleased with how the trip is going, but it is time to get in and get off the bike and give my body a rest. So one last push into the cabin, and then we'll park her up for a couple of days. I'm going to give it a little love while we're parked, maybe check the valves and double check the oil and just make sure, check the chain tension, make sure everything's still good. But wow, I can't say enough good things for how this trip has gone with the bike.